When I first started out, there was no pictures, collages, videos, anything like that. And now everybody brings photographs, albums. And when somebody's older, like 97 years old, the people don't seem to be quite as upset. And like I had arrangements with a family yesterday, and they were joking and laughing, and the man had a nice long life, so that's easier than when, I had a funeral the other day for a 49-year-old person and 3 young kids, and you can't help but get emotional. Being compassionate and understanding with people and providing them with a good service.
The beginning is what we call a first call. So the first call is, you're calling me to tell me someone's passed.
The first thing that's going to happen is we need to bring them from a place of death back here to our funeral chapel. There are 2 people that are doing the behind the scenes work, which is the preparation work, the cosmetics, the dressing, the casketing of the individual, placing them in their reposing chapel.
So we take care of the family, we help them through the time that they have, we help them grieve in an appropriate manner. That's important to us, is helping them make that first transition from a life with their loved one to a life without their loved one. So all the important information we put on the death certificate to record they passed away, social security number, their place of birth. You hear people about doing genealogy, so it's a state record and for genealogy. And then they pick the services that they like, they pick the merchandise that they want, and then everything is, we set a day and time for the funeral, everything's done right here, and when they leave, they have everything complete for the funeral service. This is where loved ones are prepared by embalming for viewing and services. So our embalming table, families select either to be part of the cremation, helping place their loved one into the crematory, or they come here to witness the cremation start. So when you come in, they have the ability to spend time with their loved one, they have the couch here. So what happens is after that, the crematory is running, the operator will come in, they open the cremation unit, their loved one's placed inside, and then they're even asked if they'd like to assist and start the cremation process itself.
I'm really not sure why I went to mortuary school. Probably a little pressure from my mom to be a professional and to go into a business. The next door neighbor happened to be a funeral director. So I worked with him kind of like in a part-time job. And like anything, it was all about learning how to make money. What I did was I moved back to New York City and I became what was called a trade embalmer. So all I did was embalm bodies. I didn't own a funeral home or work a funeral home. I worked for funeral homes. So a lot of the people that own funeral homes don't want to do the embalming or anything. Then you had suicides, like I once had a jumper, somebody that jumped off a building. And that was really pretty gory. You would have to try to put that body back together so that the family could have a viewing, and that was called restorative art.
People usually call me and will say someone passed away. Once in a while I get somebody that comes in, or they'll ask me to come to their house with books. They want to pick something out in particular. But what I find with people that are dealing with death of a loved one is that they trust me, they know me, and they'll just say, Rich, her favorite color was pink and lavender, or his favorite color was yellow or red. Just make it nice, make it something really nice. Some people for a funeral, like the bow with the script on it, like loving mother, beloved father, whatever. Some people like that. Other people say, no, I want all flowers, I don't want that. Not too often. Most people request that you put like loving mother, beloved father, dear aunt, something like that, with the script that you put on the ribbon. In the days that I was doing it part-time for other people, it was like a passion, because I think I wanted to learn it and I wanted to know everything there was. And now that I've been in it for 20-some years, I think 22 years, something like that to be exact, it's just, it's a job, it's work.
It never really bothered me to live on the grounds. I was never the type of person who was afraid of spirits, so to speak. Some spiritualists would think that it was kind of crazy to live on the grounds of a cemetery. Our job is to help maintain the grounds and to fix and repair headstones, which is a primary job of mine at the moment. You get used to death pretty quickly. You're exposed to it right away because part of our job is doing burials. It's not an easy job at times. Like any job, it has its high points and its low points. It's always rewarding after the job is completed to see something that might have been falling over, might have been laying face down where the deceased name was no longer legible, and you fixed it so that the next person that comes along can turn around and say, oh, John so-and-so is buried here.
Those families, traditionally they would go to a funeral home. Well, we've opened up and now we are the crematory. A lot of people say they don't want to deal with the funeral home. They'd rather just have their loved one cremated, simple. A lot of people are they're very simplistic, and we can offer that. These are cremator remains that are blown into the glass.
Oh.
Right, so we take the cremator remains, we put them in a little vial, like it looks like a medicine vial, right? Those orange things. We mail it out to the company. They blow it into the glass with colors that you select, and they give you this bag.
The coroner's office contacted us in reference to the unclaimed bodies, and the business actually was up for bid, and so we gave them a quote as far as how much it was going to cost to bury the 1,500 people. We had to make a couple of trips. Obviously, we weren't able to fit all 1,500 on the truck at one time, but what we did do is back up to their loading dock, and they brought out the cremains, and we loaded them into our vehicle and transported them here to the cemetery. And we had 3 graves that were marked out for the 1,500 bodies. And each grave held 2 concrete vaults, and each concrete vault held 250 cremations. Adults and some children, and the stories behind them nobody knows, except for that some were unknown. Obviously then no identification, no way of identifying them, and for whatever reasons, maybe the families involved were too poor to be able to afford to do anything at all. So they just let the city assume the, if you want to call it a burden, of holding on to the body and then cremating it.